Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cardinals Weekly, what we're calling our show now. I'm Corey Miller.
And I'm Ahmad Hicks.
And speaking of weeks, this is the best week on the calendar. It's opening day in St. Louis. On Thursday, it's finally here. We'll dive right into the big news with leading off.
So leading things off is, of course, opening day. We want to start with the best experience down there. I guess my best experience is just going down there and seeing the red every single year for each and every home opener. I think you see everybody at patios. You see people at Ballpark Village, right around the statues at Busch Stadium. I think that's my favorite experience of opening day. Corey, what about you?
Well, that sea of red is always cool to see, especially those big parking lots that are packed. We're not going to get that this year with no tailgates, but at least get some people back milling around the ballpark and in the stands wearing the red. Unlike last year when there was a time, and I wrote about this in a piece that's coming out on opening day. You and I, we went outside the press box and we're like, okay, we got to take this in. So we go out and we sat socially distanced with our masks on, of course, in the stands up at the top. And we looked around while the game was going on. They were playing the Pirates last year. There was literally nobody anywhere other than us two sitting in the seats. And I think a little speck way over there, that was John Mozeliak, I'm pretty sure, in a seat like the second deck way out there. That was a crazy experience. Glad we don't have to do that anymore. We're going to get some fans. My favorite part of opening day is that darn Here Comes the King song and the Clydesdale. Oh, my God. Every time I hear that, it just makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and it's just a special sight. And I'm glad we get that back this year for sure. So I am very much looking forward to that.
And one thing that we also get back, Corey, is Yadi and Adam Wainwright. Yadi, 17 straight home openers with the Cardinals. Waino, 16 years for him. What does it mean to have these future Red Jacket Hall of Famers with the Cardinals here again and, ready to go out for opening day?
Just kind of perfect, that it worked out this way, that Wainwright's the number 2 guy. They're behind Flaherty. I think they would have set this up so he started the home opener no matter what. But, yeah, it's just perfect. Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina, opening day at Busch Stadium, the 2 oldest players in the National League. I mean, no matter how much you love these guys, I don't think anybody could have thought that all these years later they would still be contributing and still be even out there for an opening day in 2021. It seems surreal, but hey, things are going to feel kind of normal on Thursday with those 2 on the mound for opening day.
And speaking of those 2 on the mound for opening day, let's go back to that time last year. And I know you want to talk about that when Yadi and Waino embraced one another and they had to put the mask on, during the pandemic and all that stuff. And just talk about how surreal that was.
That was awesome. I mean, it was cool that they had planned that all out. They knew they were going to get it done and going to have that moment for everybody. And it just turned into a huge thing. Probably my favorite part of all of last year. I mean, they've made so many memories from the last out against Detroit all the way to that moment last year. An entire generation of Cardinals fans, these are their guys. And for them to still be going is amazing. I want to know, I mean, I wrote this in another piece I got coming out tomorrow. I'm kind of tired. I'm done.
You're a busy man.
I'm done. Well, I'm tired physically, but I'm also tired of kind of thinking about when it's going to be over for them. Because at this point, they're just going to keep going. And it's kind of a futile effort. But I think it is interesting to talk about at least one guy behind Yadier Molina for sure, Andrew Knizner, who we know is ready for the spotlight. But as long as Yadi keeps performing, if he does well this year, I think they'll offer him, or he'll want at least another deal to prove himself again. And Andrew Knizner just kind of sitting there. How do you see that kind of maybe awkward situation when you're backing up the GOAT?
I mean, it's a difficult situation, and you have to play devil's advocate here because all of the fan base, they want to see Yadi stay here for as long as he can. But you have to look on the other side. Like, this is a guy, Knizner, who needs an opportunity. And if he gets out there, I think he can hit more home runs than Yadi. I think he can pick off just as many guys as Yadi can. I think he can get around the base pads a lot better than Yadi. So you have to look at the upside, and you have to be real and ask yourself, are we okay with paying somebody $10 million for 1 year for, 25, 30 pickoffs or whatever, 5 home runs, maybe 45 RBIs? Or do you want to pay a guy like Andrew Kisner, which is really nothing compared to what you're paying Yadi, and then let him get more opportunities to step up to the plate? And the Cardinals, we always know they get players for a bargain. All right, now you have a guy for a bargain in Kisner. He's in your organization, and you don't necessarily have to pay Yadi, but I think they understand that they kind of have to make amends for how they let Pujols walk. And so I think that's what they're doing with Yadi. So, I mean, fans want to see him around forever, but you want to see him produce too. So but he's doing good. So that's on the table.
Not taking any days off yet either. I thought they would give him, for recording this on Wednesday, I thought they'd give him Wednesday off in Miami against the Marlins after they win the first 2 games, got the home opener tomorrow. But nope, he's there in the lineup. And I'd really love to see those conversations with him and Mike Shildt about, hey, you want to take a day? Nope. No, how about this day? Nope. I mean, he makes his own schedule, and he's not going out. Yeah. So we're looking forward to those 2 on the mound. Wainwright, not great in Cincinnati his first time out, although if you watch the game, he didn't really get hit hard. A bunch of nickel and dime shots. That's just kind of how a baseball works. So looking for a bounce back. Ahmad, let's get to some things that are going to be different on opening day and for the foreseeable future at Busch Stadium. You'll be there tomorrow wearing your mask. Fans are going to be back, only about 30% capacity, spaced out all around the stadium, which, hey, is better than 0 that we had last year. So I'll take whatever we can get. Mobile ticketing, we're going to have cashless transactions. So a lot of changes here, but it's baseball, and I think St. Louis is gonna be just fine with the changes as long as they get baseball back. And hey, it's a lot safer than what the Rangers are doing right now. So
that's for sure. I mean, I don't think fans are going to complain at all. You're telling them that they have a chance to go to a baseball game, see their first game in over a year, almost 2 years, and then all they have to do is wear masks and download their tickets on their phone. I think they're going to be eating that up. I think the next big problem is going to be certain fans, complaining about not having access to tickets and things like that. So I think that'll be a bigger problem as the season goes on, if they don't allow more people in. But I think fans will be chomping at the bit to get back inside Busch Stadium. I know I am. I can't wait to see the diamond, the ballpark, and just people inside, because as you alluded to earlier, you can hear a pin drop at these games last year outside of the pumped in music that they had going on. So it was weird. And I hope we never have to experience anything like that again.
Amen there. Now let's take a look back at the biggest story so far of this Cardinals season, which happened in Cincinnati just 2 games into the year. I'm not going to call it a brawl because it's not a brawl. The benches clearing incident or scuffle, if you want to call it, in Cincinnati. We'll walk through it real quick. I'm sure everybody's seen it now. Nick Castellanos for the Reds, great player, outfielder for the Reds, comes up, gets hit in the ribs. He didn't like it. It wasn't on purpose by Jake Woodford by any means. You could very easily tell. Pitches the ball, kind of holds it at him. I didn't care much for that. Then he comes around, ends up scoring on a wild pitch, and him and Woodford get kind of tied up. Castellanos stands up and kind of yells at him, which I'm all for players expressing themselves. But then Yadi and Waino gets back up in Castellanos' face defending his pitcher. Hey, what do you yell? You're standing on top of my guy yelling at him for. Bench is clear. We got a whole thing. We had almost a fight in the outfield. Jordan Hicks wanted to really get after somebody. Ended up Castellanos got suspended for 2 games. A couple Cardinals guys, including Molina, got fined. Ahmad, do you think anybody was out of line here, or what did you make of this whole mess?
No, I think it's excessive. I think that's what you love about baseball. You don't love the benches clearing brawl, but if we're being honest about it, it's just a benches clearing shove fest. Nothing ever happens during these brawls or so-called brawls that they give them. But I think it's emotion. Every sport plays with emotion. When LeBron James dunks, he turns and he may look at the guy he just dunked over. Or when there's a big hit in football, they may get up and flex their muscles over somebody. It goes on in every sport. So why does baseball has so many unwritten rules? You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like, okay, fans have to sit in a ballpark for 3.5 hours and find some type of entertainment on a slow day. And you're telling us that the players aren't allowed to have emotion and show the same passion that other pro athletes share. We were always told as kids, when you want to celebrate and do those things, make it to the big leagues. They're there. It's fun. I think the 2-game suspension was excessive. Should he have gotten over Woodford and flexed his muscles? No, but It's emotion, passion. He just got hit. All right. He's having fun. So, I mean, I'm all for it. It's baseball. We love it. I mean, we fight in hockey. We applaud it. They stick tap the bench and everything. You know, it's the same thing. It's just a little passion.
I'm pretty much on board with you here. I think the suspension is just nonsense. I don't really understand the suspension at all. I mean, Castellanos did kind of look like an idiot when he picked up the ball and showed it to a rookie game 2 of this season. Like, I mean, come on, man. But yeah, we want to see emotion, and I would have done the same thing Yadi or Molina did if I was standing there and you got a guy yelling at my pitcher sitting on the ground. So, I mean, it's part of the game. It can get a lot. We never want to see. I love the reignition of this rivalry here because it can be a good rivalry, but we don't want to see it get to the point it was a while back with the whole Brandon Phillips incident and ended up Johnny Cueto kicking Jason LaRue in the head and pretty much ending his career. That's when it gets over the line. We're not there. This is just some passion, good for the game. Here's a little bit of what Mike Shildt had to say after the whole kerfuffle.
You know, you make it clear in spring training, but if you're going to do it, it'll come from me. It'll come from me. And I haven't had to do that really in my tenure here, going on 4 years. Thought didn't even cross anybody's mind in our clubhouse that was the case. So there was zero intent there. And that wouldn't be the guy we did it with anyway. Wouldn't be Woody, wouldn't put a young kid in that situation. But I don't put people in that situation anyway. So, and I'm confident he didn't take it upon himself. Now, do I blame Castellanos for being upset? Not at all. No one likes to get hit in the ribs or wherever he got hit, you know, with 92 or 93, whatever it was. So, you know, we thought it was a dead issue, and then, you know, kind of a perfect storm. I think that probably just, candidly, I'd forgot about it, you know, didn't like it, trying to, you know, compete in a baseball game. And, you know, ball gets away and we got to play at the plate. And, you know, of course you got contact there and two guys making a hard baseball play. Again, nothing wrong with that. You know, you got a hard, you know, slide. Great. You got a guy trying to come in and compete and get that out, get out of the inning. You know, they get tangled up. Again, you know, that's baseball.
So far in the season, you could say maybe the best 2 starts have been from your 4 and 5 guys who weren't even supposed to be in the rotation at all to start the year if it had been for injuries. Daniel Ponce de Leon and John Gant, who gave the bullpen some rest after they had to work pretty hard there in Cincinnati. I obviously the bullpen is a huge strength of the Cardinals this year. They probably didn't want to lean on it so early, but these guys have looked pretty nasty so far. So let's do this. Let's rank our reliever core on who we want to see get the ball first, second, third, fourth, all the way down. Who are you most confident in? Ahmad, I got some of the names listed out here on our rundown. If you want to, who do you want to see the ball? Who do you want the ball first out of the bullpen?
Oh, that's a tough one. The way things have been going, I'm probably going Genesis Cabrera. I mean, I love the lefty, and he's a flamethrower. I think he can kind of set the tempo where it's just like, all right, I'm coming in and I'm going to beat you up with him. And I think Giovanni Gallegos, I mean, that guy has been unreal. He can give you 1 inning, 2-3 outs, or he give you 2 innings. So I think you kind of tee it up with them. All right, so you get maybe Cabrera 5, then Gallegos 6, 7, and then we're going to come with the flamethrowing Jordan Hicks for 1 inning. We're just going to get it straight to you, and then Alex Reyes to close things out. He's been stellar. He's been what we expected to see of Alex Reyes for the past couple of years. So that's my order. That's who I would want to see if I had to pick from 5 through 9.
I like that. That's pretty good. Cabrera is filthy and struggle with control sometimes. There's a few outings when he gets out there, and I have no idea where this baseball is going to go, but he's exciting for sure. And Giovanni Gallegos looks like the guy he was in 2019. He is filthy. He was filthy in Tuesday night's game in Miami. Man, if he's on, that is such a huge weapon that you have again, because you got Jordan Hicks who you're working back in. They don't want to have him go too high pressure, too full bore yet, but he looks ready to go to me. Mm-hmm. They're throwing him in. Imagine this is a guy who's your closer, but they're just popping him in the middle of games when they need to shut down innings. So and we know how I feel about Alex Reyes. That's my guy. And I've said he's going to be the best pitcher on this entire team by the end of the year. And he's looking like it so far. And they like him in that closer role while they're still working Hicks back. So I like that. I like that setup that you got to go if they got to start in the 5th there. Although Tyler Webb is going to get some innings because, man, they go to that guy almost every game so far. Ryan Helsley, we know he can run it up there too. Hasn't looked as good as the other guys so far. A little shaky, and if I remember right, he wasn't that great last year either. So he's a guy you might want to back off and work in a little less. Andrew Miller, and we talked about all these flamethrowers, and we didn't even mention Andrew Miller, who's got the most accomplished resume of anybody in that bullpen, and he can still sling it too. So this Cardinals bullpen is just
loaded,
insane, and they need it so far. Hopefully the starters can start going deeper into games, but they've needed it so far.
Exactly.
Let's talk about from the bullpen. We'll move out to right field, which obviously the outfield is always a topic of debate among Cardinals fans. And everybody sold on Dylan Carlson, of course. Even when he's not hitting that great, he's going to be in there, and everybody wants to see him play. I'm right along there with him, so he's going to be out there. Tyler O'Neill going to be out there as well. But right field, still a question mark with Harrison Bader sidelined still. And Carlson not able to play right, and Bader in center. So we've seen Justin Williams and Austin Dean take some time out there. It has not gone well.
No, it's a small sample size. Okay, we have to agree to that. But man, I mean, Dean, 7 plate appearances, 4 strikeouts. Williams, some of his strikeouts just look really bad. Like he's not even close to making contact with the baseball. And you have to say, yeah, they're getting acclimated. Like these guys haven't played ball in a while, but it's bad. And it makes you think, all right, makes you think back to 2 years ago. If the Cardinals bring back Marcell Ozuna, then you have Bader at center field and, O'Neill and then Carlson in right field. You have that. And then you may think about, okay, what if they just keep Cone Wong last year? Then you could throw Tommy Edman out there or something like that. So you don't have to worry about guys with inexperience or no major big league experience. And so you always have to think about the Cardinals pocketbooks. Right now, I think it's too early to panic, and we can't press the panic button just yet. We're only just into the first week of the season, but I think it's something that you have to keep an eye on. And I think the Cardinals are going to have to make a big splash because there's nobody that Lane Thomas is not going to come up and be the hero that we need in right field, and they need production from that right field spot. So too early to panic, but it's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I'm going to hear a collective groan from Cardinals fans everywhere when I say this, but in Miami, in the second game, and now we've seen the lineup for the third game. We'll see it play out on Tuesday night. Matt Carpenter's at second, and Tommy Edmonds in right again. And if Williams or Dean or they haven't tried Nagowski out there yet, can't hack it. I guess we're going to see a lot more of Matt Carpenter at second base and Tommy Edman in right field. And I mean, Carpenter looked all right in his first start there. Didn't really have anything to show for it, but got a walk, hit some balls hard. So I was really, I'm not closing the door on Justin Williams yet, of course.
Absolutely not.
I was really hoping he'd get off to a hot start and could kind of run with that right field position because he's got a lot of talent. And I've said before, I think they could be a Randy Rosarina situation if they quit on him too early and let him go somewhere else and flourish. So right field is definitely a carousel right now. And Tommy Edman and Matt Carpenter are the ones looking good.
Yeah, I think you just have to give them 30 to 40 games before we talk about making significant changes. Now for our next segment, the Red Hot, Red Hot seat. Okay, I was about to call it machine. I saw a machine down there. 3, 2.
You're going to call it the Red Hot tub.
All right, 3, 2. And now for our next segment, the Red Hot seat, a big topic. Should the NL have the DH position? I'm going to start by saying no. I do not think that just from the Cardinals standpoint, because who are we going to put at the DH position? Matt Carpenter? Okay, that's not so great. Okay, well, you say he's in the field, so who's our next option? Nagowski, Justin Williams, Austin Dean, some guys we just talked about, Harrison Bader. Like, this does not favor us. Like, this favors a Yankees team who's loaded with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and all those other guys. But when you look at our roster makeup, we need the pitchers playing and on this side of the ball, because when you look at our bench, I I don't think there's much to choose from when it comes to DH. Now, Corey, you may have a better argument on why we deserve a DH position, but I just think right now that's just like a guy we're screaming for somebody to go 1 for 4 or 0 for 4 if we get a DH position.
Well, now I could very easily. I've been on both sides of this, and I could argue your side, or I could argue the other side, and I'll argue the other side. And first thing I'll say is, okay, they don't have anybody that you really plug in there and feel that confident about. So that's better than a pitcher going up there and hitting 4 times. Anything would be better for a pitcher going up there and hitting 4 times. But I think your point is the other team would have that too, and they may have somebody better to plug in there than we would plug in. But listen. It's inevitable. The DH is going to come to the National League probably very soon. It almost came this year. Even they pulled a April Fool's joke on Adam Wainwright, saying a deal had been struck at the very last moment that he wasn't going to get to hit this year. And then he started questioning that and getting kind of hot about it. They okay, no. There's no DH this year still. As a guy who likes weird baseball, excuse me. As a guy who likes weird baseball things, I don't want a DH because the National League produces that kind of baseball. But it just makes sense. It's more jobs for guys that can hit. It's more excitement, which is what baseball wants. You don't want kids, they'll say, sitting out there watching a starting pitcher try and sacrifice bunt a guy over or flail 3 times. Just can't even hack it. So that's what baseball will tell you, and it's moving that direction. My thing is, if somebody gets hurt, if a pitcher gets hurt swinging the bat, it's just going to feel terrible because, okay, there's a whole other league where they don't do this and it wouldn't have happened. Adam Wainwright tore his Achilles once while he was hitting. So it's coming, and I've made peace with the fact that it's coming. And I think Cardinals fans are going to like that it's going to be here in a year or two because Nolan Gorman's going to be here in a year or two.
Yes.
And he doesn't have a position right now to play. And I think I'd rather see him at DH than converting to a second baseman. So the DH is coming. Right now, it might not work for Cardinals fans so well, but I think it's going to in the future. So we should get used to it.
That's what I was going to say. I would be much more inclined to root for the DH position for the Cardinals this year if Nolan Gorman was league ready and I knew that we could have a chance to see him hit 20 to 35 home runs. Then I would be all for giving that guy 4 ABs every game. But right now, let's keep the pitchers batting. We kind of need that.
All right, let's go to the time machine now. And this week in 1922 at Sportsman's Park, the Cardinals wore their iconic birds on the bat uniform for the first time, with the birds on the bat and the Cardinals in script scrawled across the front. First time in an exhibition contest against the St. Louis Browns. Browns pitcher Urban Shocker, which is just, oh my God, that is like the best baseball name I've ever heard in my life. He won the game. He beats Cardinals Willie Shildt 3-2, and first time the birds on the bat appeared. And I say this very unbiased, and I've been able to remove myself from this. And I kind of look around, but I really do think the Cardinals uniform is definitely a top 5 in all of sports, and
for sure,
probably the best in all of baseball.
For sure. And I think our hat is loved by everybody all over, because when you go places, whether it's on the West Coast, the East Coast, you see people always wearing the Cardinal red hat. You see it from musicians and actors and all those type of athletes when they're wearing something, that has red in it, they have a Cardinal hat. So I am biased, just like you. I think our uniforms are definitely top 10, if not top 5. And I think I have like 4 Cardinal jerseys. So I'm just working on expanding my wardrobe,
It's classic. And the Yankees pinstripes are classic too, but that's kind of all there is to it. Cardinals more intricate, and it's also classic at the same time. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I think the Yankees, Cardinals, Dodgers, those older teams have some great uniforms that won't be topped. Although, gosh, I think my favorite uniform combo might be the A's Kelly Green jerseys.
The white, yeah.
They're the Oakland. Okay, actually, the Cardinals have the best. Oakland, I think I might put second or third because their uniforms are amazing. The yellow and green look so good together. But those Cardinals birds on the bat, classic, and debuted this week all the way almost 100 years ago, 99 years ago this week.
And one of our final segments on this episode will be me trying to stump Corey. We have two sports encyclopedias in our sports office and senior sports producer Andy Moeller. And then there's Corey Miller, our digital sports reporter. And so, Corey, today I'm going to ask you three very basic Cardinal questions, or they should be basic Cardinal questions. And I hope you can answer them because you are somebody that I resort to whenever I need that old school Cardinals information, you and Andy. So I hope you get these right. I'm going to start with something simple.
You've been talking me up so much. I am a little nervous here because I got to get these right to prove my worth here.
Don't worry. I'm going to throw you some softballs for the first episode. So first, the Cardinals have 11 World Series titles. Can you give me the year of all their titles?
Ooh, all of them? Okay.
Yes.
Let's work backwards.
Okay.
We'll go with 2011, 2006, 1982, 1967, 1964, I might have missed one in between here. 1947.
Keep going.
1944. But I got there's four. I'm missing four.
You're missing four.
I don't know if there was 1954. Is that on there?
No, going high now. You got to work down. You said 1944 last.
We got the Gas House Gang there, and there's a couple in the 20s. I'm gonna guess 1922. Was that their first one, or 1926?
26.
26, I think, was their very first World Series. Is that right?
Yep.
So I'm missing three. Let's go with. For some reason, I think the Cardinals won a bunch of World Series on years that ended 4. So it was 34 on there.
Yep.
Now I'm missing 2.
34, 34, and after 34.
Well, I don't think they won back to back. So let's go 36. 36 on there. I think I might have to cash out at 9. Otherwise, I'm just
okay. Okay, so we'll give you 8. We'll give you 8 out of 11. You said 1947. It was 1946. So they won in 1946, and you missed 1931 and 1942.
Okay.
That's a toughie, though. You weren't even alive during those times.
Once we get past the 60s, I'm just kind of guessing. I knew they had a couple in the 40s and a couple in the 20s. And other than that, I was just kind of.
It's funny because when I was looking up stuff that's trivia questions for you, I was like, well, let me stay away from the 40s and the 30s because we weren't really born back then. I was like, so let's try and stay relevant. But I was like, no, we got to go old school. We got to shock them right off the bat. So these should be some
dates. Dates is my thing that I'm not that great with. If you go players from back then, I might be able to surprise you.
Oh, I know. And I think you will answer these next two questions with flying colors. All right. How many seasons did Lou Brock lead the league in stolen bases? Is it 6, 7, or 8?
Well, I'll go 8. Is it 8?
Ding, ding, ding. Yep, you got it. 8, yeah. All right. And in what year did Bob Gibson lead the league in strikeouts? 1967, 1968, or 1970?
Well, 68 was his dominant year, 1.12 ERA. Can't believe he didn't do it in all of those, but I'll go 68 since that's his season he's known for being dominant.
Ding, ding, ding. Told you that you would get those right. I already know you would get those. So you went 2 for 3. You got 8 out of 11 with the World Series. That's not bad at all because I would have got 2006 and 2011. So, so you did good with those.
All right, everybody. That'll do it for this episode of Cardinals Weekly. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. For now, have a great opening day.